Alright, so I'm gonna put this on a picture of this, but this is the pathway, a pathway of an experience of mindfulness, or some ideas for an experience of a pathway in which you practice meditation. It leads to mindfulness. So let's get into this chart. Alright, so you start meditating. So when I first started meditating, this is what I did. I so I got down close to the wall. I put some rugs down, and I got down close to the wall so I could lean my back up against it. Because I have a heavy back, and I crossed my legs, and so I had like the wall keeping my spine straight, keeping me vertical. I crossed my legs, and I did the Sam Harris intro to meditation, mindfulness practice, and I just kind of did what I listened to that, I think, once or twice, and just tried to get the vibe. Just tried to get an idea about the ideas that they were having, that he was describing. And it's it's kind of it's kind of this vibe, I suppose, about consciousness. And so how do you get to a place where you are starting to participate in the converse of these ideas about consciousness? Okay, so breath work. What you need to do is you need to start meditating. Start getting into the practice of meditation. Um, so you need to probably do something similar to all that stuff I said. Like lean up against the wall, and cross your legs, and place your hands on your knees, or put them in a fist, or do something like that, or you could do something like that, and then also you can do that breathing exercise, which is a practice in itself, and it really teaches you how to slow down. Uh, and so the idea of the conversation that you want to be having in this practice is noticing your senses, noticing your body, noticing how it feels, noticing the subtleties between each breath. Is the cycle of the breath. Do you participate in it? Notice the subtleties of the body in that place, in that experience. Yeah, notice the subtleties of the body in those different places. Um, I don't know. Notice that you can be noticing it. Look, learn to talk about it. Learn to have a conversation about it. Notice your body and your senses, and really try to kind of tune in to an idea like that, participate in it, practice it, and notice eventually over time what it does to your brain, um, what it does to the narrative in your mind. And so the idea is you want to become more, more aware of your body. So that's no surprise. That's where you learn to do that. Is you want to become more aware. How do you do it? You become more aware of yourself. Um, and so you you go off and you practice that. Um, always, always. Um, and in an idea like that, in a practice like that, you start to become more aware. You start to become more aware of your body. You start to notice the idea of the self. It becomes distinguishable. You figure out how to have a conversation about it. You figure out how to describe it. It becomes something. And that is much like the idea of finding the self. Um, and so, breath work. So, you want to really practice meditation and focus on your breath and noticing the subtleties of your body. And so what that's going to do is it's going to reveal this world to you in which your senses are more, there's more going on there. And what you want that lead to, what's going on is you're actuating your senses. So then you start to actuate these senses. They become interpretable, they become usable by the mind, by the body. The data starts to build up. You start to the idea of these senses and you becoming more aware of them. So your brain will start to put them into practice within the interplay of your reality, and it just has a natural proclivity to that. To kind of borrow a phrase by Jordan Peterson, which I like a lot, that natural pro- proclivity, or the idea that there's this pathway for that you must participate in inventing, um, and you can become more aware of it, and it can be going better. Sam's point. It can you could be having a better experience in consciousness. And so that idea to an idea like that, those are the type of ideas, well, they meditate, and I think that um, through this process, this practice of inducing your biology into this quality of consciousness, this state of consciousness in which its qualities reflect that of lowering the heart rate and um, syncing the body more and with the brain, seem to populate the psyche with ideas which would lead to um, more flourishing. or I think Sam is right in that. Um, Ideas in which then the psyche wants to flourish more. Because it's interesting data that you find in these states of consciousness, as it is a reflection of you, you know. So this idea that you yourself are a repository of yourself, and if you meditate and practice mindfulness, and you start to become more aware of your senses and your psyche, your brains, your body, just by noticing them, your body starts to actuate them more, and they start to permeate your reality more. Your brain starts to use them in the interplay you have to reality, your biological interplay to reality, because you're populating the brain with this type of data through this practice. So you want to focus on your breath work, and you really want to discover your body, discover this, yourself more. You want to start having that conversation that you are having, kind of this natural conversation within your biology, and you would like it. You would like to tune into it. You would like notice it, be aware of it. Um, if you can, even make it distinguishable. Try to populate, try to think of idea, invent, because you have to invent your pathway. Invent your pathway with ideas, um, in which you feel more like a line, or with the conversation with yourself. Um, I think Sam's point is right. There's a more objective way to going about the state of consciousness. And his, is there is a better experience that you could be having. There it is, a, it's distinguishable. It's objectable. These states of consciousness. And yeah, if you induce the body into a state of consciousness, which you lower the heart rate and you give the brain more of an opportunity, more of a chance to participate in the experience of reality that you're having, um, it will populate the brain, the psyche, with better, probably some good data, um, which will become part of your journey, part of your pathway to mindfulness, um, or enlightenment. Um, I think the gist of it is, with Sam's point on rationality, um, is that you can um, experience a state of consciousness in which, maybe you are trying at least a little bit more than you previously were, the former self, um, in a way which would lead to a better conversation, a better converse, as you move through life. That's not a crazy idea. I think that's a great idea. Um, and so, yeah, so let me get into this chart and a little bit more here.